Hello and welcome to the Walk and Live podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to talk about acknowledging your sprint. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week.
I was supposed to read that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Do you want me to re-record that? It was on, just the...
Oh, we couldn't hear it, but they could hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, then that's fine. I was going to have you re-record the little sound button.
Someone had turned this knob down.
Oh, it's probably a child. It wasn't Bianca. I don't think she was touching the board.
Are you sure?
I don't think it was Gonka.
Gonka.
Or Sunny. Daisy, can you say Bianca? Gonka. Anyway, welcome to the Walk and Love podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us part of your week. The Walk and Love podcast is a weekly conversation between TJ and I about emotions, rhythms, marriage, parenting, faith. It's a place where we laugh, sometimes cry, as we try to find language to live a full life. So if you like your listening to line up with your living, then you are in the right place.
Ooh, I like that new line.
It's from our new website. Don't even worry about it.
What?
Don't even worry about it, except totally worry about it because it's not done yet. And I want it to be done.
Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. All right, let's go.
I did not know what that was until you chose that as your word of the year. And then you were quoting it. And only then was I like, I feel like you're quoting something.
Oh, yeah.
And then you showed it to me.
From Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud.
Now I know.
The sponsor this week.
The sponsor.
First of all, if you're on YouTube, you're just seeing a title screen because we decided today that we just didn't want to set up all the cameras and the lights and all that kind of stuff. So you can listen on YouTube. Here's a fun fact.
Okay.
I learned
Fun fact.
that now on the YouTube Music app, which I've never been a YouTube Music people, but some people are.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand. That's like a step thing.
It's just like having...
Because artists put their music up there?
Yeah, you can get any album. It's just like iTunes, just like Apple Music, just like Spotify.
I guess if they're making money off of the streaming, then why not stream it?
Well, no, it's like a music platform. It's not just to watch videos. Like there's a YouTube app.
Okay. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I've clicked on that one maybe once or twice. Okay.
Then there's a YouTube Music app, which probably looks something like Spotify or Apple Music.
It's not just videos.
No.
It's not like this one where you're watching a screen.
Right.
It's not a lyric video.
No, it's just like Spotify or Apple. Are you familiar with Apple Music?
I've been on Apple Music.
You've been on Spotify?
Not really.
Similar to those.
Wow.
I think it is included in your premium subscription too. Like I think we could have it.
Information.
Because here's a strong feeling outside of the other strong feelings we have.
Okay.
The best.
Oh, where are you headed?
The best streaming service.
Uh-oh.
Hands down.
To listen to music on?
No. Streaming service like Netflix, Amazon, all this kind of stuff.
Streaming service.
Is to pay for ad-free YouTube. Hands down.
Game changer.
It is.
Maybe it's more a game changer than strong.
It is an absolute game changer.
Yeah. Do you have
I don't think I have the thing.
You don't have the button? You have like 8
game changer.
18 buttons now.
Changes to the game such that the game can never be played the same way again.
So, like when I was in Kansas City, visiting Brad Ellis from Ellis Custom Creations, who will also be at the Best Is Yet to Come event.
Yeah.
I was like, we were talking about Mr. Beast. And he
Right.
was like, I've never seen a Mr. Beast video. And I said, oh, well, you should watch one. Like, you know, I'm not a huge Mr. Beast guy, but he is the best. So it's like, well, let's see what he's doing.
Right.
Just from like a cultural
He's at the
standpoint.
top. Yeah.
And we turned on his YouTube and he had ads on it. I said,
Trash, Brad. Trash.
He
literally makes part of his living off of YouTube.
I know. I had just he said I made him feel really guilty about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm getting in for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Venmo him $38 for whatever it is or whatever the amount is.
However many months that
Please
covers.
divide this by 12. This is going to cover a portion, not all.
Anyways,
just a portion.
So I think long way to the well. Why are we
Who
looking
is
for
walking
wells
to the well?
so often? I don't know.
No, for real. Like it just means like we're trying to get to the source.
Yeah, I think so.
Of life.
I'm sure.
Is it living water in the well?
First well. Water from the first well.
Oh no. We'll get there too.
I think because now when I upload something to YouTube, like a podcast video, I can select that it's part of a podcast.
I see where you're headed.
So you can now listen if you're a YouTube music person. I believe our podcast is up there.
Oh.
Maybe you could tell me.
Based on the toggle button you're clicking.
Yeah, but we are not videoing at this time. So go to Spotify.
In case you didn't catch on. We're not videoing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
This week's sponsor is the Seek Rest collection.
Speak Life.
Seek
That was
Life,
a different
Seek
one.
Rest.
You could seek life, I guess.
Seek Rest collection available right now through the 24th at midnight, which is really the 25th by the time I get up Hawaii time. Go buy a t-shirt, support the podcast, get a great t-shirt, get one of your favorite t-shirts and a reminder you need for your everyday life.
Yeah.
We know you're not going to wear Walk in Love shirts to a ball or a gala,
Wow.
but you know what you go to.
Do you think our people are going to galas?
No.
Or ball?
Sorry, folks.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, if you have gone to a gala in the last year, please send us a DM of you wearing a Walk in Love shirt at the said gala.
It's like an inspiring t-shirt gala. Little do we know.
Why am I not invited?
Exactly.
If your everyday life, we're talking laundry, we're talking dishes, we're talking kids having meltdowns,
Target, park, work.
Communication with your spouse, going to work, all this kind of stuff. These are the shirts for that. These are the reminders that you need for that everyday life.
Yeah.
And they're available now, and it's a great way to support the podcast. Buy a t-shirt for you, buy one for a friend. There's strong likelihood that some of these designs won't return this year. Right. And so if you want one of these for a Christmas present, buy it now because it may not be back.
Right.
And you can just stow it away. My mom is a big...
I think I would like to be into that.
Yeah, we need a better organization to be into that because you are so bad at hiding the presents that you bought for the girls that they find them. Well, and then they're like, hey, can I open this now? And I'm like, well, I guess so.
I guess you've already seen it.
I've already seen it.
No, I know. I was good at it for a while because I had a specific bin and it was in like the way back. Yes, by the living water well in the back. That takes a while to get there. And then, they just sort of caught on. Because the bin was see-through. So that didn't help. So,
I used to be good at it.
Well, it was just that they didn't even know to be looking for a bin. So they'd be back in there in the pantry and they're like not paying attention. And then once it was like, oh, there's a bin in our house that might have things. Yeah, I'm going to look for that. Which is funny because they're not like sneaky kids.
As soon as they see something, they come and tell us right away.
Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. In your closet,
There's this really great thing. Can I open
in my closet, totally unhidden, where I literally left it laying on the floor. You saw that? Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's fine.
In the see-through bin?
Yeah. No, so I need a non-see-through bin. But every non-see-through bin we have is enormous. It's like...
True.
It's like a Costco size black bin with a yellow lid.
My hiding spot.
Which I guess is fine if I fill it over time.
My present hiding spot, which is normally for you, because you usually handle the girls' presents, is stuff between all my piles of shorts.
Oh, clever.
Yeah, just clever gal. All right. So the sponsor is the collection. Go shop it now. Link in the description, link in the show notes, shop.walkinlove.com. Go to Instagram.com/walkinlove. Go to Walkin' Love. Go to YouTube Music. I don't think you can get there from there, but then close the app and then go to Safari.
Then Google.
Google Walk in Love, shop, click on some links.
Yeah.
Get there, buy a shirt.
Get there.
The podcast discount is OHBOY, or Smelling Like a Rose. SMELLINLIKEAROSE.
Wow.
You're probably going to use oh boy.
Smelling like a rose.
Okay.
I love it. I have a review of the week.
Read it.
Which is why I was like, I really needed the intro to happen correctly, which is why I panicked a little at the beginning here. Title of the review. Do I snap after the outro? Yes. Yes, I do. 5 stars. Welcome to the Walk in Love podcast review. I'm Tori, and I love this podcast.
Oh, nice.
Cue intro, snap. Brooke and TJ have positively influenced my life in countless ways. Their apparel, granola recipes. Do I Google my own granola recipe and have I talked about that? Yes, because I can never find it.
Is the new website going to unleash a plethora of Brooke's recipes? Yes, it is.
Music recommendations, clean beauty products, Friday finds, home joy course, sitcom references, the list goes on. Listening every week is like catching up.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Listening every week is like catching up with old friends. What keeps me coming back, though, is the call of their hearts to be people who love Jesus and allow him to permeate every area of their lives. It continues to open my eyes and has altered my life and home in glorious ways. If your path has led you here, count yourself blessed. Thank you, Brooke and TJ, for your obedience and being part of my week. Okay, I love you. Bye. Cue outro. Snap.
Jeez, Tori.
Right?
Bringing the heat.
Freaking Tor.
Got tear balls.
I remember.
I'm full on tear balling over here.
Full on.
I'm deep tear balling.
Dripping the tear balls. We called them that. We called them tear balls in my family growing up. Kind of knowing it was like kind of funny and kind of a thing. But then I got very accustomed to just saying that.
Yeah.
And calling out other people's tear balls. And then I was like, maybe I should. Maybe that's not best
TJ,
for my future.
Have you ever noticed that your dad's got some good tear balls? What did you just say?
Yeah.
I feel like you should tell the story, speaking of awkward family stories.
Oh boy.
About your and your mom's conversation about going to prom with my older brother or homecoming.
I feel like I may have told this way back.
But I feel like
Okay, so I would have been, how would that even work? Because Nick is, it would have had to be homecoming.
It would have been probably 9th grade.
So maybe, no, because I would have had a boyfriend. How does this work? Maybe he didn't need to be in high school. I was just going to invite him anyway.
I think so. I
He
think
was going to go backwards.
He's going to go backwards.
He was going to go backwards. Okay, so oh man. I'm like not embarrassed, but it's funny. But I am not because of Nick. Nick's wonderful.
Suck it,
like,
Nick. I got her.
No. It's just funny now being where we are. Okay,
Yes.
So our families, we grew up going to the same church. And so I knew like TJ's sister Sam is my age. And so we were friends for a while, used to do like Sunday gymnastics together and things like that. And then Nick was more involved, who is 3 years older than you.
Yeah, something like that.
Were you a freshman when he was a
Yeah.
senior? See,
So
this is
whatever
how
the
I
math-
do my
whatever
math.
the math is
That's the
on
same
that.
distance as my
Let
brother
me just
and I.
paint a better picture. Nick is a heartthrob. Dreamy as can be. Especially after he plucked the unibrow. So 9th grade, not so much.
Right.
Kind of looked like a gargoyle. And he had like that like kind of center part with like the like bad grunge rock
Yeah.
like hair.
It's not 90s, but
But like
yes.
Bush was his favorite band.
Right.
He only wore shorts all year, even
Yeah.
when it snowed.
Obviously.
But after he got through that disgusting phase, the guy is dreamy. He's as dreamy as they come.
Okay.
So
Okay. Anyway, he was more involved in the church than even like after graduating. I feel like he helped with youth
he
group.
can play the guitar. He sings like an angel.
He sings.
Come on.
Anyway, so all this to say,
Just tame
context.
the unibrow and all of a sudden.
Context. I was aware of Nick, even though I wasn't like friends with Nick. I
Right.
didn't know you, T, because you weren't ever in church. And I was only there if I was promised I didn't have to play the games at youth group. As long as a leader would promise me that, I would show up.
Okay, wow.
And I think Sam and I had ended our friendship, but I'm not kidding. I'm just kidding. We just went to separate schools and we didn't see each other. Anyway, so at some point, it would have, if I go through the boyfriend list, which I have never done on here, it
You
might
got
have
dumped around homecoming. Some sort of dance, high school dance.
yes.
And your mom.
But I had someone in 9th grade and I had so I might have been in 11th grade, which
Okay.
would have put Nick somewhere in college.
Yeah.
But so my
Now
mom
he's even dreamier.
than college. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm certain. Yes. And so my mom was like, here's an idea. Why don't you? Because I think she was, she's being protective.
Yes.
Mama bear. She's like upset that I'm upset that like I don't have somebody to go with. I thought I was going to have somebody to go with, whatever. And so she's like, how do we get back? I love it. Love the posture. Love the heart posture. How do we get back at all these suckers? I know. We'll invite somebody dreamy to take her. And so there was a long ding, 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 Nick Mousetis. There was this long hypothetical, let's try on the dress. What would that seem like? Conversation of, okay.
It's like it's like the teen movie revenge scene.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
show up,
I'm going to show up.
unibrowless Nick is there.
Yes. Right. And everybody's going to be like, who's that guy? We don't know who that is.
Why is he so tan?
Seriously though, why is he so tan? He is so much tan. Although I think this last visit, you out tanned him.
Take that,
Finally. Been working. That's why we moved here.
Nick. I'm not going to lie. I needed that.
Although this was the visit where more people than ever were like, man, you guys look
Yeah.
alike.
Actually, Sunny the other day, I had a tank top on and I was like walking out. She's like, oh, I thought you were Uncle Nick for a second. I'm like, he was here like 2 months ago. In what world?
Hey, people just show up in her world. She's
Which
living
is
her
just
day.
so true.
So precious. Not even thinking 2 hours ahead.
Yep.
And then bam,
Bam.
families of people show
7
up in her
cousins
house.
are here.
So it really could have been Uncle Nick.
So
Anyway.
what a great story.
Yeah.
I love
No,
that.
we
I
do
don't know
giggle
if,
about it
I don't know
still.
if Nick knows
I don't know
it.
if Nick knows that.
Yeah, hopefully he's listening. Lindsay,
Okay.
if Nick doesn't listen to this one, send it to him.
Yeah. But we talked about it for a while. And then it was like, how do we get in touch? No, we can't do that. He won't say yes. Now I'm going to be turned down by 2 people. Oh, gosh. Which is fine. It might have even been late. It might have been a prom. I don't even remember.
So
But,
good.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Who knew?
anyways, that's where we are.
There it is. All right. Well, I've got a Mount Rushmore for you.
Okay. Hit me.
Okay. Hit me
I don't
with
know
a
what this is. So
shot.
we're just going to,
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you.
I'm going to wing it.
We are, hey, that ties in.
Oh.
You're gonna wing
feather it.
it. Okay. Mount Rushmore of. You do the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Oh.
No, Mount Rushmore. Rushmore. Oh, the eagle's finally finding his voice after 4 years. Oh,
I'm free.
of books you read as a kid
Oh, gosh.
or had read to you. So I'm talking more like chapter story. I'm not talking like the Very Hungry Caterpillar kids books. I mean like sort of like the Wing Feather Saga,
Okay.
which we've been reading. So would you like me to go first?
Well, first, let me talk about the Wing Feather Saga.
Okay.
Great book.
Series.
Great
Saga.
books.
It's a saga.
It's a saga. Yeah, we've finished book 1. We're into book 2, and there's a show on Angel. It's a Christian author.
Yeah.
Wrote the book, so it's like nice that you're just like,
Oh, it's so good.
hey, I don't have to worry about anything weird. I don't have to read ahead. I just
Yeah.
can kind of believe that this is going to be
Yeah.
good natured and have a positive
similar
message.
to like, I mean, this is a big comparison, but similar to like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe type books. The good versus evil, light versus, it's just like so good.
So we've been reading it at bedtime, and then we found out there was a show, and then we found out the show had a soundtrack. And our 2 older girls, connect with this soundtrack on, I would say, like a spiritual level.
I think for them, it really is something like that because they can't.
So into it, like
But not in like a.
dance party type of way, and like it is. It's like they're as into it as I was into Taking Back Sunday my senior year. Like
Wow.
it is an emotional.
It is something emotional for them.
Like happening.
Yeah.
And they sing with all
Really
of their
loud.
might,
Yeah.
and it's really sweet. So the
Yeah.
books are great. We're in the 2nd book right now.
How are the audiobooks? Because you're also listening.
We're going back and listening to the 1st book, June and I.
Yeah.
Audiobook is great.
Yeah. Nothing ruins a good audiobook like a bad
No.
person reading
I
it.
think it's the author that reads it.
Oh, even better.
Even better. And so it's really good. But to answer your Mount Rushmore, I don't have a ton. My parents read to me, I think.
Disclaimer.
Let me just put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
My brain was still growing into my head early on in life. And so I don't think it was absorbing anything. I have memories of my dad reading The Hobbit.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay.
And then I challenged myself while we were married to like, hey, you should probably like reading, TJ.
Yes. Yes.
And so I started with like young adult books to get myself into it. So as far as that Mount Rushmore, I think I'm going to drop a short blank on that one.
Ooh, wow. It's like me. That's normally me.
Because The Hobbit, I definitely remember my dad reading The Hobbit. But outside of that, not much.
Okay. All right. Well, mine would be in no particular order. There's actually one that
I love that you, like, we've called it Mount Rushmore for now 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And you still say no particular order. Is Mount Rushmore in order?
No, but sometimes I am also ranking within the 4. Like I'm well aware that I'm putting my top at the top.
Okay.
And then there's other times where I'm like, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just, here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. There is, oh goodness. Can I include Harry Potter? I was a kid when I read that.
Did your parents read it to you?
I said that you read or you had read to you.
Oh, okay. The Hobbit was the only book.
Right. Well, okay. I'm now realizing that I did read Harry Potter as a kid. I mean, I was like, probably, what would that have been? Middle school, early high school?
You're not a kid in middle middle school. Yeah,
It
you
is
are.
a book of my childhood, though.
Okay.
Of
Sorry.
my
I back off. I back off.
non-adulthood. I don't know. Okay, so I really enjoyed Holes, which was made into the movie, obviously, with Shia. But the book.
Is Shia also a dreamboat to you, the way you said that?
Well, no, but I don't know. But no. But he was in Even Stevens, which was a Disney Channel. It's fine. You didn't know.
You were poor, TJ. You didn't have Disney Channel.
But he was so fun in that. And so I do feel endeared to him because of Even Stevens and his character on there. Ooh, I can't remember his name.
Even
Lewis?
or Steven?
No, that was their last name. Okay. Holes. The Phantom Toll Booth. I'm torn. I think probably the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basiley Frankweiler, which I read to the girls recently, but I think I strongly resonate with the girl in it.
Okay.
And so even though I didn't realize that when I was a kid, I see now that I'm like, oh, it's about a sister and one of her brothers, but her brother, and they run away to go live in a museum. And like, she's just like,
spoilers.
We got to do it the right way. And he's like, hey, let's have more fun. So feels a little bit relatable. And then
any like specific relationship that you're in, or
no, like it's totally fine. I think maybe, we listen to a lot of books. My mom did a lot of like the books on tape from the library. We have this one that I remember. It came with a real book. So I guess this was more of a kid's book. It came with a real book. And so when you had to turn the page, a cat would meow. And so we have this like specific, like, blah, 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 it's reading about the book. And then it'd be like, meow. And we'd be like, oh, turn the page. And so there were years where we would just meow around the house in the exact pitch of that book. Probably The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay.
I mean, I just feel like that is such a magically classic book.
Yeah. So let me encourage some parents out there whose kids have no interest in reading, like I did as a child.
Oh, Bridge to Terabithia.
Yeah. Like everything you're saying, I'm like, I've never read that until now as a dad. And so I wouldn't be super like discouraged if your kid doesn't have any interest in reading, because I didn't as a kid. I can barely remember any of these books. And now I read almost daily.
Yeah.
I definitely listen to audiobooks almost every day. And so,
which Bianca told me on our podcast doesn't count as reading. Hot take. And I said, should I end our friendship right now? Or she goes, you listened to the book, but you didn't read the book.
oh, Gonka, stop.
And I was like, well,
I'm unsubscribing from the podcast.
we just lost our only
I
subscriber.
know. The only one that's listened. I'm about to leave a review.
Please do. Say, Brooke is wonderful and amazing.
Gonka,
Bianca,
unsubscribe.
your hot takes are garbage.
Yeah.
We have strong feelings. Do you want to?
Yeah. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Well, they're actually joint strong feelings.
They're actually like joint strong feelings from like an island of people. I
Interesting.
would say that the whole island participates in this strong
I
feeling.
would think so.
So our strong feelings, and again, like, you know, you start complaining about life on Maui and people are like, oh, it's life so hard for you. Which is true. It's amazing here.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And
We're
if
not
you
actually complaining. But here's the thing. But you could apply this if what we're about to say.
right.
Okay, well, let's say it. And then let me give my example.
Yep.
Our strong feelings are that I'm super annoyed and bothered when I go to order something.
Yep.
And then I go to check out and it says shipping not available to Hawaii.
Right.
Unless you're selling me lithium batteries, which you literally
I don't
are not
understand
allowed
why.
to mail here for some reason, or some sort of aerosol spray. I don't care what the shipping rate is. Please let me decide if I would like to pay that insane amount,
which we have,
to mail me the thing, or choose not to. But please make it an option.
Yeah, we would love the option. We
so
would
that
love it.
I can determine, okay, that's worth shipping that, or that's not worth shipping
Because
that.
normally, like, if you're shipping something, it's mostly like, it's almost the cost of the item. Again, like
About half.
for big items like furniture or anything
for furniture,
like that.
it's about 75% of it. Yeah.
And so, but we run into that all the time where we're going to check out and it's like, and sometimes it's so random. It's like a toy or like, you know, and it's just like not available. I'm like, well, just, give me the option.
Right.
Those are my very strong feelings.
And I don't think, I mean, maybe some people would be like, how dare you charge that? Blah, blah, like some people who live on the islands.
I get that.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's fine. But I think everybody here understands
that you're going to pay
because
more.
that's what I was about to say, is that if just other rando states were excluded from shipping and you lived in that state, you'd be like, please let me decide if I want to ship it to Arizona or not.
Right.
Like, I'm the one paying for it in the first place.
So I was talking to a friend about this earlier this week.
Well,
It's strong. It's a super strong feeling.
I
My other
agree.
strong feeling is that if you listen to a book, you can qualify as reading it.
I agree.
So
I agree.
take that, Bianca.
I read the story. I will say that I do often clarify, well, I listened to it because I do feel like it's a different experience.
A better one.
But, those are fighting words between my two besties. I'm so scared. I'm so scared right now. Butt clenched. I don't think she listens anymore, so it's fine.
All right. So, anything else?
No. Do you want to jump into what we were gonna
I will
talk about?
I will jump into what we're going to talk
Jump into
about.
the well, babe.
So,
Hopefully, there's a rope to climb out. Well's very deep.
wells are deep. Okay, first I
Spookily
just want to give a couple of updates on my life.
Oh, okay.
One, I've planted enough watermelon seeds to have a watermelon patch, and they're all sprouting, and they look great. But Brooke tells me that you need a lot of room to grow a watermelon.
We don't have room
And
for
we
a
don't
watermelon
have a lot
patch.
of room. And so if you live on Maui and you need a watermelon seedling,
Could we grow them on our roof? No, probably not.
no. Anyways, it's going great.
If you live here and you need a single watermelon seed, is that your offer?
Well, it's a seedling. It's not just a seed. It's
True, it's a
sprouted.
little seedling.
It's growing.
Little guy.
Cantaloupe too. I also have a lemon tree started. I'm in.
You're all. I love that you're all in.
Um,
I just think we might need to move to a farm.
Yeah, but I'd be willing to make that move. So that's one update. The
Okay.
update number 2 is last week we made an announcement that we're opening up some slots for people to come and stay with us.
Yes.
And we've emailed some of those people.
Yes.
So we'll probably keep updating. Like once a spot is claimed, we'll probably update that on the Google form and then
Right.
try to keep that as updated as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If you filled it out and we haven't gotten back to you, we're kind of going in date order. So if you filled out a later date,
Yes.
we're kind of just making our way through it that way.
Right.
And
Yeah. Even if you filled out an earlier date, though, like we have to start somewhere and be in correspondence with people. And then if it doesn't work out for them to come after all, we like kind of get bumped around and stuff. So it's exciting, though. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too. So we're just super stoked about it. So those are the 2 like updates. The other update, buy a t-shirt. Please.
To support my watermelon farm.
Yeah. If TJ's melons needs to get off the ground. And so I need some capital to start that.
Literally, it needs to be off the ground because we have no room for it in our yard.
So
Okay.
DJ'sBigmelons.com.
Yeah. Please don't go to that. Don't go to that. It might exist.
Oh, monster. So
Okay, what made you even want to talk about today's topic?
Yeah, so
what had you thinking?
I've been
about
thinking. So we have for the month of May, and honestly, a little bit of
It's a little bit of April.
April. That's the word
what
I was
comes
looking for. April. So we started this year with sort of this big idea of like, what will it look like to radically change what we do? Not in the name.
Yeah, that sounds more radical than it is, but
Yeah, like. I guess I'll put it this way. So Donald Miller has this book called How to Grow Your Small Business. He has a podcast called Business Made Simple. It's been very influential in us, especially like we've known, like I've read Storybrand years ago, his other book. I've actually read most of his books.
I mean, we took his course years ago.
Just super like
we were still at Supply.
tactical business advice.
Yeah.
So then I stopped absorbing content from him. We moved,
Yeah.
we did all those things. And so this year we kind of like picked it back up as we, it's wild. I'm going to be 38 in a month. Like, what does owning a apparel company look like for a 40-year-old? There are questions like that are now starting to sprout up in my mind.
Yeah.
And
Much like your seedlings.
around my life, like in 12 years, I will be 50.
Right.
Wow.
And
like that.
What are we doing?
And it's like, okay, those of us who have made their living on the internet, how does that mature? What does that look like when it's older?
Craig Rochelle. That's what it looks like. I'm just kidding.
I get in a lot better shape then.
Yeah.
And so, we started kind of reabsorbing Donald Miller's content, and he tells this story of like, a mentor of his saying, hey, you need to professionalize your operations. And so that's kind of what we felt this year is like, we need to professionalize our operations. Not that they weren't professional, but not in the...
I mean, we've done small increments forward over the last 14 years of doing exactly that.
Yeah.
It's not like we're still at whatever, ground zero or whatever. Like we're not at step one, not at all.
And so this year, 2023 has felt like one sort of this recalibration of we've almost lived here now 2 years. That was a crazy thing to do. That has been amazing, but it's definitely just altered what we thought, the direction we thought we were going. So it's like, okay, let's recalibrate to what that feels like and looks like, what it's like to live here, all this kind of stuff. And then it was sort of this thought process of what does that look like for the future?
Yeah.
Both in our business, but also in our family. Like we've talked about this with the outline, the episode about the outline is like,
what was that episode called?
The outline that can change your life or whatever.
Something about changing
and
life. Yeah.
There's an element of like, we don't think very far in the future.
Culturally?
And we're not really taught to think that far. It's like save for retirement. Okay, well, I'm 30.
Go to college one day.
I'm 37 years old.
Right.
If I retire when I'm 60 or whatever, which I don't plan to do,
right.
I think work gives us a lot of value.
Oh, separate conversation at Bible study last night about the theology of all that.
And so it's like this really like almost super distant goal that like doesn't really affect me today. I mean, It does in some ways, but not really.
Right.
And so and that's why that outline that Jeremy shared, that we then shared on the podcast, was so radical of just like, oh yeah, if I look at my life in chunks, what does the next 10 years look like? What does the next 5 years look like? And all this kind of stuff. And so in 2023, I feel like that reality really sank into our souls of like, what does this look like? What does it look like to kind of systemize our home for joy? What does it look like? And we've been kind of on this journey of rhythms and living rhythmically and all this kind of stuff. We've been systemizing in the best way possible some of these aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
We've done it in business, but now we're at this level of like, okay, the systems can only take us so far until you need better systems or you need to professionalize those systems. And so it has birthed a lot of conversation in our lives. And if you're in that season of that, have those conversations. They're super valuable.
Keep having them. There was a period where we were like, we are still talking about this same thing.
Yep.
Okay, but that's fine. We were just still talking about it.
And so that's been one side of it. And then there's this other side of like, I feel like the Lord has kind of called us out in our move here to expand our reach, expand what we're doing, expand what we're offering, expand our products, all this kind of stuff, expand our family, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so we're having this sort of recalibration and this expansion talk happening at the same time. And then we hire someone to help us write for us, like write new copy for our, we've been talking about Walk in Love for almost 15 years or whatever, over 15, whatever. And so there's an element of it that's just like, what do I
say? Shirts for sale. Buy, click now. Like, I'm just like, my word's gone.
Yeah. And so
spend money.
So we hired this copywriter who like really kind of, I don't know, I felt inspired by the work that she did. And it was just
which is exactly what a
like,
copywriter is supposed to do.
We do talk about that stuff. And I've talked about this on the podcast before that I'm like, does anything I say ever matter? And you guys have sent me messages that say it does. And I really appreciate that. Please keep sending them. Buy shirt now.
Buy shirt now. Spend money.
And so we got all this copy. Great. It's incredible. And
she was really fun to work with.
We have a website that we're working on, and we had the collection, and we have 2 courses. And so we have been since mid-April, well, really since the whole year.
But specifically there was like, I identified, there we go, like a 5-week, hey, if I'm only working during nap times for the next 5 weeks, here's how many hours that is.
It's not enough.
It's not enough to get done what we need to get done.
And so
that, which led into a separate conversation.
And so we need to, what we call, have a sprint.
Yeah.
We need to sprint through the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of reorient the rhythm and maybe make some sacrifices on things that we normally do and change them to things that we need to do and all this kind of stuff. And so,
but in the name of this determined amount of time,
Yep.
acknowledged sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually going to be ended up being 6 weeks because
Yeah.
some things just took longer than we expected.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to kind of just encourage people today in is, one, I want you to ask the question, are you in a sprint?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in a sprint and you haven't identified it? Like, are you and your husband, are you and your wife, or you and your family or you as just a single person in a career, like in a sprint season
Yeah.
where the rhythm is going to feel off, where you might feel a little more tired. You might be doing a lot more extra work. You might be driving to more soccer games. You might be, doing this, and this, and this, and this. And if so, there definitely needs to have a conversation with the people around you that you're in that season of sprinting.
Yes.
And there definitely needs to be an end date.
Yeah.
And so our end date was actually today,
Right.
which is the day the collection goes live. But because of all the
Life.
things,
Yeah.
it's been extended.
Yeah.
But we also kind of
Through conversations.
yes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just feel like there's that side of it. If you're in a sprint, let's identify it. Let's talk about it. Let's put the parameters on it. What does it look like? What is it? What's life going to be like? Like
Right.
for us, ours was, I usually work most of the day, and Brooke was like, I need more hours. And that's true. You did.
Yeah.
You needed more hours than me. And so you proposed you should go to the gym at 6 a.m., get your hours in the morning.
Right.
And then then you take over for the kids, and I'll kind of work the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the gym once at 6 a.m. Couldn't do it. Just did not like it. And so
Oh, that's cute. I'm just kidding. I also gave up. Bianca and I talked about this on our episode, which will come out shortly. Literally about how I was like, I have to be okay. I have to tell myself that like, it's okay that I had to pause my super early morning gym time for a couple weeks here in the name of I need to work at night, which means I can't go to bed as early, blah, 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 blah. And like that, it doesn't mean that all the time I did go to the gym early is wasted. And it also doesn't mean that I will never do it again.
right.
Like,
Yeah. And so we mapped out this sprint schedule, this sprint rhythm.
yeah.
And I was going to go to the gym at 6 a.m. and then work from like 7:30 till 10. And I did that one day, and it was just, I just didn't like it. So then we kind of recalibrated. I was like, I got to go to my 8 a.m. Those are my people. That's my class. Like that. I just don't think I can spend 5 weeks away from that part of the rhythm. So I would come home, shower. I'd have about 30 minutes to sort of do anything that I needed to do.
Yeah.
That was like kind of pressing, and then I would take over for the kids. And so for me, this is a lesson in, am I trusting the Lord? Am I trusting the thing that we've set before us more so than I'm trusting my own worth and sitting at a computer and doing the work that I value?
Yeah.
So it's been definitely a humbling season for me of just like, I got to trust that Brooke's going to do a great job. I got to totally believe in her. I got to honor her time and energy, and I'm just going to be dad. And so all in.
Yeah.
And then I worked in the evening. So my sacrifice was, I'm not going to get up and go to the gym at 6 a.m.
Right.
I'm going to work in the evening and maybe stay up a little bit later, or I would wake up and do some work before leaving for my 8 o'clock class. So,
Yeah.
and again, it was just this really helpful, like, we know what we're committing to.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just gave us like a spirit of grace in our house that we weren't getting frustrated, because I think a lot of us have seasons where we're sprinting and where we're running after something really heavily, but we don't have those conversations about it.
Right.
And so we end up sprinting in opposite directions, or we think we're sprinting the same way and we're sprinting one's to the left and one's to the right, or someone's running faster than, like, there's a million different scenarios. And then we end up fighting during that season. And I think what happens after that is, if you fight in a season where you're sprinting or going after something or changing jobs or moving or whatever it is, you then blame the thing.
Right.
And I feel like what it does is it sets you to pushes you to a life of apathy, because that thing caused the fight. And so if sprinting causes the fight, if sprinting causes the argument, if sprinting causes the disagreement, then we should just never sprint or go after anything in our lives. And I don't think that that's what the Lord has for you.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think the conversation about the season of sprinting, or whatever you want to call it, busyness or hustle or whatever, I like sprinting.
Yeah, I was even going to say, because to me, I think acknowledging, literally picture yourself sprinting. And it could be towards anything. It could be finishing your homeschool year well. It could be something in your job. It could be something as a whole family. Like, it doesn't have to just be in business, I don't think.
Like paying off debt. I feel like
There you
people
go.
go
There's a great example.
into seasons of like, we're going to sprint after paying off this debt.
Yes.
And so you're making a ton of sacrifices.
Yes.
You're probably not eating out as much. You're probably not buying as big as gifts. You're probably not going on trips. You're probably not doing a lot of the things you wanted to do in life.
Yes.
And you could very easily get in a fight over all of those things.
Yeah.
But what people do when they want to pay off debt is they have a conversation about it.
Yes.
But you take that sort of main family spouse goal and put it elsewhere. And it's like, we don't have conversations about it. And so I think what we're trying to encourage you today, excuse me, is to have those conversations pre-sprint.
Yeah.
Because they will then allow you to sprint maybe a little further than you thought you could. Because even now, as we head into...
I just think with more, for me, it really, I don't know if it helps me run too much further. If I picture myself literally sprinting like laps around a track, I don't know if maybe, I think over time, the muscle, like the practicing it, the muscle would let me run longer. But what it does for me is it provides me with a lot of energy and a lot of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like as I'm sprinting, I'm looking way less to the left and right of who's running with me. Is this where I'm supposed to be running? Am I going the right way? Blue. Like I don't have all that. I can just literally stay in my lane, literally, and run. But why to call it a sprint and not like, we're just really busy right now, or let's just hustle.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so rarely. It's sort of like the conversation from last week of like, I'm afraid of versus like, I am, like this identity. And so I think the hustle and the busy can really get into your identity real quick, instead of it being like, no, it's just this thing we're running after right now. But just like a real sprint, we cannot sprint forever.
No.
We're not calling it a long distance race.
Right.
There's other things in life. I think you could acknowledge like, no, this is a long distance race.
Yep.
And so we're going to go slower. We're going to train for it. We're going to do this. But like you sprint and you cross that finish line when you sprint, even if you're in last place, you finish.
Yep. And so I think there's two sides of this. One is let's acknowledge what it is. And you know, we just shared the story of us doing that. And it's really helped us. I don't think we got in one argument during this last 5 weeks.
No.
Or let's not say we're in a sprint if it is our lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other side of the coin.
Exactly.
And that's what Brooke was referring to. That so like, you know, I would say that Brooke and I have exiled the word busy from our vocabulary. Mm-hmm. I cannot remember the last time I said I was busy.
No. People say it for me a lot, and I don't always want to like be the corrector.
Yeah.
No, I'm not busy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I said, but not in a bad way. Or I always feel like I need to be like, well.
and so again, like what Brooke was saying, I feel like it becomes part of our identity. And then if you hear this conversation, you're like, oh, okay, now I need to sprint after something. And you're not going to be able to do that. And the only way, you know, let's think about an actual sprinter around a track.
Yeah.
What are we talking? 100, 200, 400?
400. I feel like you're at least doing a lap, right?
Okay.
Oh, such a hard race.
Yeah. Remember when, what's his name, broke the marathon?
Bolt? No.
Marathon world record?
Oh, the marathon guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
We
either.
did the splits.
You figured out the splits.
And I tried to run one single 400.
At the speed with which he ran an entire marathon.
And I couldn't.
You couldn't do it.
I was like,
you were close.
I was like 4 seconds off.
Yeah.
And then I tried to run again, and I ran about 50 meters and was like, nope.
Yep. So he ran like that for
26.2.
6.2 miles.
Crazy. There's like actually a giant treadmill somewhere where you can try to keep up with his pace. It's like a part of like this installation
Oh
thing.
my word. That's crazy.
So let's say, I feel like I'm talking to two different people here. So
That's fine.
Let me clarify. Or let me just talk to one or the other.
Which one?
I'm going to talk to the people who they say their life is a sprint, but it's actually just chaos. And just encourage you to stop saying that.
Yeah.
Like you.
I mean, that is step one, to just literally stop calling that to yourself, to your spouse, and let those effects trickle out.
And I think one of the things that you can do to have seasons of sprinting, which I think are valuable. Like we've done an incredible amount of work in a short period of time. We've moved the ball down the field more in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We haven't scored because none of it's done, but we're close.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're almost there. And that can be super valuable. Let's say you move into a new house and you need to renovate and you're going to be in a season of living in sort of this like chaos and you're working towards something that can be very challenging.
Yeah.
And having conversations about that can be very valuable. And so if you try to do that forever, you're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
No sprinter can run forever.
No.
And so like if we're running
It's no longer a sprint though.
No.
By definition.
And if we're running a 400 in the Olympics, they start the 400 from blocks.
Yeah.
So they need that firm foundation to push off and run as fast as they can in what could be one of the worst races ever to run.
My brother ran the 400 into like Division I college. And I just, sometimes I'm like, he was moving so fast.
And so
it's awful.
If we're just trying to sprint in life and we don't have that firm foundation of those blocks, we won't get the sprint won't be as valuable. We won't be able to cross the finish line. We won't be as disciplined, all this kind of stuff. And what I feel like the blocks are in life are the rhythm. And I remember saying this to Brooke before we moved, probably 2 months before the move was even on either of our radars.
Oh, okay.
I said, I feel like what the 7-day rhythm has done for us is it has given us a structure for our life that you could take the Mousetis family. And I
did say this.
And
I remember
made
this.
like the claw.
This
like
claw hand, picture it coming down.
I said, you could take our family, pluck
us
us out of here and put us anywhere and we would survive because we have this.
Just survive though.
We would thrive because we have this foundational rhythm.
Yeah.
And that is just such a game changer, life changer, incredible thing to kind of realize. And then 2 months later, this thing actually happens. Yeah. And for the most part, we thrived.
Oh, 100%.
More so than we ever could. And so what I feel like the rhythm does is, especially if you've lived in it for weeks or months and you're like getting a good idea about it, it then becomes the starting block to maybe enter a season that will challenge you in some way.
Yeah.
Because once you finish, you got that rhythm to go back to. You know that even in that sprint, you have that rhythm to live by. And so it might shift, it might change, it might be a little bit more, it might be a little more difficult in some ways or this or that. And so, I would just say that like, as we run this race of life, which is a marathon. Yeah. There will be seasons where we have to pick up the pace. Yeah. But those seasons don't last forever. And you should have end dates on them. Yeah. And you should have conversations.
Or conversations about it. I mean, we had an end date. We've now moved it. But like, then maybe have a conversation about like, how many times do we move this until we recognize that like, this is just our life now? Or, you know, or what can we do to really stick to this thing that we've said? Yeah. Yeah.
So I just kind of felt like that was what the Lord was putting. Well, there's another topic that the Lord's also putting on my heart, but I need to gather my thoughts.
I'm not prepared for that one yet.
Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I don't think so. It's been really valuable since we have started naming our seasons as such. I think we in the past were like, okay, we got a lot to do in the next few weeks. Let's work hard. We were like trying to have the conversations about what needed to happen. But it wasn't until we had that sprint language and we're picturing it like that I feel like we've been able to like run harder and faster and pass the baton really well. But then be like, all right, we're winding down. We're coming to the end of it. And like, sure, there'll be another one someday, but.
Yeah. And winding down doesn't mean that we now all of a sudden are going to go on vacation or anything like that. It just means that we like kind of slow down to the normal pace that we've kind of established as life. Yeah. And now we can run around the track in that way pretty consistently until maybe the next project or the next big thing that we need to focus on comes up. We're kind of good in that pace.
Yeah. I love it.
We have a little visitor in our bedroom. Sonny, do you want to say hi on the podcast? Do either of you guys want to say hi on the podcast? Come on, Junie. Come on over.
Come on over.
Okay. Normal voice because people are listening in their headphones, so we don't want to blow their ears out.
What do you want to say?
What do you want to talk about?
What were you watching? You're not going to say anything? No, she's not. She doesn't want to come.
Okay. Let's just have a little short interview on the podcast, me and you. Okay. What's your name?
Jen.
Yeah, talking to the microphone.
Jen.
And how old are you right now?
8.
Yes.
And what is one of your favorite things to do right now?
You have a lot of favorite things.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Drawing.
yeah, art stuff.
Yeah.
And what book are we reading together right now?
Wing Feather Saga.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
We were just talking about it.
Do you like the soundtrack that goes with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fan?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say to the podcast audience?
No.
Okay.
All right. You girls go back downstairs. We're going to finish up in 5 minutes. Sure.
Sure. Go
Sure.
figure it out. Junie can find it. Look at her. Weaseling her way in there. Okay, is there there's time for like one Bluey episode? I mean, just maybe. It's so great. That's it. I don't think we need 5 minutes. I'm like literally like I'm ready to wrap it up, T. We're good.
All right. Well, the collection is available. You can buy shirt now.
Buy shirt now, spend money.
We so appreciate you guys and the community that we have.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that is
Thanks
it.
for listening. Thanks for making us a part of your week.
Okay, I love you. Bye.